for something. A new way, a new understanding, a connection, some comfort. You've got questions, and Light on Living puts the spotlight on all the answers so you can shine. Lift and lighten the load of life's challenges and learn simple and easy ways to live a healthy, happy life. You'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you. You're invited to hear new, see different, and feel more as Lisa shines the light on living.
Hello and welcome everyone. Woohoo! We are starting the month off with so many reasons to make you feel better. I usually say giving you reasons to feel better, but this is so many because we are going to use this entire month of March in 2020 to change the world. We're going to change the world a little. And we are going to be doing this with a wonderful book that's just being launched and released, Lead Amazing Woman Lead. And yet again, Marsh Engle does an incredible job. And she's revealing the 8 essential powers of mastering your mission. We've got 8 influential entrepreneurs, mentors, and change makers about to join us. So we have 2 of these lovely guest authors every Monday at 12 p.m. noon here Eastern Time. And before I bring on my first guest, I'm going to start with sharing I love this quote by Marsh, how she really shares when you do get the book and you read it and what you're going to absorb, what it really encompasses. But I just thought it was perfect for the show as well. And Marsh says, as we discover the true power of our mission, we access a deeper sense of connection, value, and creativity that can and will transform our lives, our communities, and the world. And that is such a powerful statement. So as we go into, I'm just jumping right in here, going to be jumping into our first lovely guest, our author here. And in doing so, she is going to be sharing with us the essential power to master your calling. And what my lovely Joy Osaka-Lu says is, together we weave a new story for changing the world while changing the stories we hold in our own hearts and souls. Hearing the call is a sacred process. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. So welcome, Joy, first of all. I have to say hello and bring you on.
Oh, hi. Thank you so much, Lisa. I'm so thrilled to be here today.
Oh, well, this is just it's a power month, I think. And in sharing that power month and now having you on here, I'd just like to share a little bit about you so the listeners can really open their hearts and say, yeah, you know what, she is leading, and I connect with that. So everybody, just want to share with you about Joy Osaka-Lu, and she's a soul path blueprint coach. Whoa, I like that. An empowered alignment mentor, author and speaker who helps people find the overlooked personal and professional power in their lives, business, careers, and relationships. She's the founder of One Ripple, where she teaches that by making even the smallest shifts in our energetic core, we gain a fresh perspective. In fact, one ripple can change everything. And Joy merges proven practices of transformation with highly practical forward movement actions in her Dharma of Business workshops and private sessions. She can be reached at, and we'll tell you this at the end as well, joy at oneripple.net and oneripple.net. Yes, that's her website. Sorry, I was like, wait a second, I just said that. Oh, first of all, oh my gosh, a soul path, a blueprint coach. Holy doodle, how does that happen?
It's such a profound and sounds like it's a very, entails a lot of deep work. And yet I found that the work that we do throughout our lives is something that can be so simple and liberating when you go directly to the core of the issue or the problem that might be holding you back or slowing you down. And it's meant to be a really beautiful process. It's not meant to be heavy. And we're all well equipped to do this work. And I've found a tremendous amount of satisfaction in helping people unwind the overlooked stories and the power that's found in them in a way that isn't hard at all. It's meant to be very simple.
You say overlooked stories. I'm going to ask a little bit about that because I like that you said it's liberation versus being held back. And if we overlook story, how do we know when we should overlook a story and when we don't? Like, how do we know when there's benefit to it or when it is holding us back?
No, I have this strong feeling that all of us are designed to be free of anything that holds us back or makes us feel small or less than. And so all of the stories that we have are meant to propel us forward. It's the moments where we do feel a little tinge of shyness of showing up completely are the moments when we are being invited to look at what's really happening and to go a little bit deeper and find that golden nugget that is showing itself, ready to come out so that we can have that story, but just embody it in what I call a clean way, anything that's free of those tendrils that hold us back. And it's really interesting this time, this moment in time in history. You can see that this type of unfolding or finding and reclaiming our overlooked power is really emerging as we look at how the world is changing so rapidly. And I have a different perspective of why that is. And I feel that everyone wants to find their place in this new human story. And each of us are designed to be a leader, to start that path so that they can just do that. So many people are stepping up and finding and listening to their calling in a way that allows them to begin to weave a new story for humanity. And they do this just by finding that overlooked power within their own lives and in their own hearts.
I love that, because really there's so much, I get the vision of eyeballs and eyes and stuff here, because you were mentioning about overlooked and perspective. So we see it with new eyes. And as we are going to run through, because we're basically, the book is The Essential Powers of Mastering Your Mission. And so when I saw that your essential power was to master your calling, I would love, just with the way our perception, like the way we look at things, is there a softening or a difference between, what is the difference between a purpose and a calling?
The words are used interchangeably, and from my perspective, there is a slight nuance. I think people often will equate a purpose with what they're going to do with their lives, the outpicturing of who they are. And a calling to me is something that comes much more deeply. It's not really intellectual, but it's something that is simply pulling you forward. And your calling, or my calling actually, and I write about that in my chapter, it's always pulling you forward to tell a truer story about yourself and why you're here, rather than what you're doing. So this internal, this deep knowing, and unveiling and stepping into just this, what you're designed, who you're designed to be, then can express itself in your purpose and what you do. Often a purpose can change depending on whether or not you have gotten all the gifts out of doing whatever that had led you to do. But your calling really is around who you are, and it's always showing itself to you in everyday situations. So it's very similar, but slightly different.
Yes, it's actually, it's huge to me. This is what I love about unwrapping this. We really go deep on these things. And to recapture that, I love that. So I love that. A calling is like a who you are, and it's about telling yourself a truer story about yourself and why you're here. And it's something that pulls you forward. Whereas the purpose, it has to do with what we do in our lives and with our lives. And it can change depending on, like you said, I love that you said, if we've extracted those gifts. So as we have self-growth, that is so beautiful. And then when we look at are you one to stand up and say, yes, I'm a leader, I'm leading in this lifetime?
Well, I've always been a high achiever throughout my 34 years in corporate America and school, but never once did I ever consider myself a leader. I just was a good performer. And so that shyness of not acknowledging the achievements that I had accomplished was really holding me back. And I feel that all of us are leaders, that we're designed to lead our lives. And you don't necessarily need to have the title of leader to know this and to embody it. And to lead, for me, the way that I put it is, you're simply stepping into the truth of who you are, and you're allowing that presence to be the only self that you live from. And when you break it down like that, it becomes less of how others might have externally defined that, and more meaningful, and something that can light you up and inspire you, because you become very aligned with this truth of who you are, and you allow that to be seen by those around you.
Oh, I like that. Yes, to be seen by those. Yes, because in order to lead, then others are not following. I don't mean that, but witnessing it. And
Yes.
I like that. So you're lit up, and then others can see you.
Yes, and this notion of leadership and hearing your calling, when you're in that state, you're in that space that's free of any external definitions, your presence alone gives permission for other people to feel that in themselves. So a lot of people feel like leadership is how well you articulate, your business acumen and things like that, when in fact it's much more subtle but much more powerful, because your presence alone liberates other people for them to see themselves in that way.
Yes, I got goosebumps when you said that.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, God.
But, so I like you said, it's subtle, but, oh, gosh, I'll have to listen back to the other word you said. It's defined. And that is the most important thing. I think you're changing literally the definition. I like that we all are changing the definition of leadership, because we so badly, when we do step into a role of leadership, we want others to see that in themselves. That's like yeah.
Yes, we are moving into a more collaborative space where, each of us, and great leaders in business will do this. I'll use that as an example, where they very much know what their talents and their gifts are, but rather than hogging the stage or talking all of the time, they actually create space for other people to express their talents and their gifts. And it becomes much more easy and much more safe for other people to show themselves. So it's a really beautiful environment and world that we're stepping into.
So I have one of the questions I was going to ask, but I'm changing it because you really opened the stage, for this one. But I was going to ask what the biggest barrier that women were encountering to answer their calling, but now I would love to ask actually is, what is the biggest barrier that you feel has been and that we are overcoming for women to be able to express, like what you just said, express their calling? What is that barrier that we've been faced with, but now that we are hopefully?
Sure. When I had mentioned the overlooked stories and our overlooked power, these are so overlooked that they're very challenging to see. And yet when I use, my talent to be able to bend time and space and look at the original core of where that story started, it's really woven into the human story long ago. And it's a myth that becomes something that allows us or drives us to operate and live on autopilot. So this notion of leadership and this new definition is unwinding all of those stories, any external definition that one might be under the impression of what leadership is, and really step into this notion that I use a lot in my talks and workshops, and that is moving from a red ocean of competition and scarcity and trust this process of moving into the blue ocean of uncontested waters where there's enough space. And that can be a very daunting process, because there's really no signposts that indicate if you're going in the right direction, because you're really trusting your internal North Star or your calling or your original essence, the way your core genius is designed to create. And that is the real key to changing the fabric of the human story, to weave a new story. And it really starts from changing the stories that you have in your own heart. And that automatically begins to reach out and change the people around you, even though you're not, on a mission to change anyone, but you're, again, giving them the permission to be who they are. And then that starts to ripple out to the people that they know. Yes. And I believe that's the new way of leadership. And the only thing holding people back from that is just that uncertainty of what that means, because there are so many overlooked stories that I have and that everyone in this world have. And that's why we need each other to hold each other up and hold each other's hands and put a hand on each other's back, just to let each other know that we're not alone and that we're all defining this for ourselves.
Oh, I like it. It sounds so comforting. It's so comforting. And if people can hear even one person, like you have just said, it is like a ripple. Because if I now suddenly feel a little bit more safe to say something, now somebody else might hear me and then they go, wow, she said that's now, maybe I can say this.
Yes, exactly.
And you raise a question that I have that I'm sure that many people are feeling. These overlooked stories, and then the kind of question that formed in my mind is not just mine, but is my story a myth, or is the story that I've been telling a myth? And how do we how do we build the trust if trust is our only signpost? How do we build trust if we don't have it to be able to explore if our story is a myth?
The thing that I would recommend is, if there's a feeling of less than or anything that's encroaching on a very pure sense of freedom, then chances are that's a myth, because we're all designed to really be this truth of who we are, this core genius. That is the only self that we're all designed to live from. And so if there's anything that encroaches on that, that's a good indication that there's a myth that's really wanting to get some airtime and be released. And when people hear that word release, they often feel like it's getting rid of something, get it out of here. And I would just like people to take a minute and realize that everything and everyone just wants to be seen and heard, even the overlooked aspects of ourselves. And when you look at that overlooked part of ourselves in a very loving way, it's like a kid or a dog that wants to be pet. Like it just becomes overjoyed. And so there's nothing negative or dark about that. It's really a very tender process and very pure, just very childlike without being unsophisticated. It's at that point of looking at your stories from the perspective of everything, all of your experience, everything that you know, everything that you feel, and welcome that. And that's really where epiphanies come from, when you take the time to just sit a moment and get that gift, because that's all it's trying to do. It's just trying to give you a gift. It's not here to scare you or punish you. Our myths are here to actually liberate us. So, and do so in a very sophisticated way.
That is so beautifully put. I love that, childlike and a sophisticated way. That is just perfect. Oh my gosh, so good with words there. The word tender really jumped out at me, and I think that's I'm feeling like that's our number one skill, kind of, or offering that we can do when we stand in that leadership role, the new leadership role. It's that we're offering tenderness and space.
Yes, yes. And, again, a lot of people might externally define tenderness as being weak or smothering or any, something like that. And that's
Yeah.
not the case. Tenderness and holding a clean space for people it's something that I think we need to really remove this divisiveness that we see in the world, that we are different from those around us, instead of looking at the core of what we all want and using that as a starting point. And as a leader, knowing this full well for yourself, again, it just naturally expresses itself without being weak or less than. You come from a place of inner power rather than power over, and that automatically allows people to become real and honest with themselves. And you don't have to say a word in order to do that. It's just in your presence alone.
I like that. I like that you added the word clean into holding a clean space. You bring up, I'm going to make sure I get time to bring this little question in here, because when you said clean space, a lot of times when we think about, gosh, we have to, you made me envision a child like having something like a dark secret that they need to express, like I did something bad and I didn't mean to, and I just need to tell somebody. And when you said that about offering this clean space and this tender response and just presence, that's so beautiful. First of all, it's so beautiful. And and when does that just mean like when somebody is really, maybe they're an adult, maybe they're 80 years old, maybe they're 90 years old, it doesn't matter, but they really feel the need to express something. Is it just that they want to purify it, love what this is telling them?
I feel like in those kind of instances, that person perhaps hasn't learned to look underneath the surface to the core, and they're really just asking for help. And clean space really is nothing other than holding space. You listen. There's no judgment. There's no advice given. It's just, I'm sitting with you, and I want to hear everything about it, and let them articulate that, because in that process, it becomes very sacred without rituals or any incantations. It becomes very pure, and that person begins to hear the truth for themselves, this truth that's been wanting to come out. And when somebody feels safe and they know that they're not alone, they step more into their own sense of leadership, and that word healing, of just bringing information forward that has been waiting to come to light. That's all.
That was perfect. Yes, I hear the distinction even in myself. So thank you for you're educating me. So you're leading me right here. Well, I would love to ask this question of all questions. What is the single most action that a woman, and anybody, but a woman in this case, can take right now to answer her call to lead? What is that single most important action? I know there's so many, and we talked about like 10 of them now, but
Yeah. I believe that the single most important thing is simply stepping into the truth of who you are and allowing that presence be the only self that you live from. And this is being expressed to you every day in every circumstance. If you take a moment and just look beyond the surface, go a little bit deeper, and allow that aspect of yourself to be reflected back in everything in your life.
Oh, and then that is a beautiful way to lead. It's a two-way mirror here. And
yes, definitely.
Oh. Well, what would the best way? I would love everybody, first of all, to get their own copy of Lead Amazing Woman Lead, and get to know these 8 essentials that we can use in moving forward. But how could somebody reach out to you? I know we mentioned your beautiful website name. I love it. But if you'd like to share that with people again, and how they can get a hold of you and work along with you.
Oh, thank you. The name of my website URL is oneripple.net, ONERIPPLE.net. And my email is joy@oneripple.net.
Oh, it's so perfect now. I see it even more, like it's deeper now. Your name of your business is deeper, and you take clients, as you said, one-on-one, and you do coaching, and they can do it virtually or over, the internet.
Yes,
they don't have to come right to you. Okay.
And I offer a monthly virtual workshop on how somebody can create their brand halo through the Dharma of business, and we use the Soul Path Blueprint as a modality.
Oh my gosh, I love that. You just said halo. I don't think that word has ever been spoken on my show. I love it. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, Joy, it's been such a pleasure even just meeting you and hearing from you. And I hope I already know that so many women and people will get so much from this. And you are just helping to deliver one of the 8 essential powers of mastering your mission. So thank you, Joy, so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for your grace and for offering this space. I really appreciate it.
Aw, well, thank you. All right, everybody, stay with us because when we come back, we have yet again another essential power for you to get mastery on in your quest to lead. We'll see you soon, guys.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization. Their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Mind connected to the heart, connected to the love, connected to the soul. I'm connected to you, connected to me, connected to us.
The Connection app, the perfect way to get to know your partner, yourself, and love more deeply. Download and join today.
Mind connected to the heart, connected to the love, connected to the soul. I'm connected to you, connected to me.
Hi, this is David Strickle. I'm excited to share my brand new show, The Stream of David Live, right here on OMTimes Radio. Each week I'll have exciting guests and I'll channel the eternal wisdom of the stream, a group of non-physical entities whose teachings have transformed lives all over the world. So join us for an uplifting hour each Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's The Stream of David Live right here on OMTimes Radio.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance. Say hi, guys. When I adopted them, I discovered that they both have incredible personalities. Chance's sole purpose in life is to love and to be loved. Frankie is a little bit of a scoundrel and always entertaining. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
Welcome back, you guys. You're listening to Light on Living. I'm your host, Lisa Berry, and we are going into with our second co-author of the incredible book, Lead, Amazing Woman Lead. Marsh Engle has put this together. It is the 8 Essential Powers of Mastering Your Mission. And we are just featuring so many influential entrepreneurs, mentors, and change makers. And so now as we step into the second essential power to master, and this one, of course, is going to be the essential power to master your vision. And we are welcoming Pamela Nebeker on with us right now. Hello, Pamela.
Hello, Lisa.
Yay, second time here.
Right. We're back. together.
We are back. Oh, and I love it. I love it. So this is actually why you are one of our beautiful leaders in this world. And what I'm going to do, I would love to share just what you have written about, the essential power to master your vision, and then a little bit about you so people know who you are, what you're doing, and then we'll dive right in deep, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, well, everyone, the essential power to master your vision. So your vision, your inspiration, your medicine, what you have to give to the healing of this world lies within. Your story, your healing, and your vision all come from this place inside. Are you ready to begin your vision quest? Look inside. It's always been there. And that was by Pamela Nebeker. And I'm going to read to you about Pamela now. And she is a lover of beauty and a seeker of truth. For more than 30 years, she has served hundreds of clients as an interior designer, realtor, feng shui practitioner, and personal coach. She created homes and businesses specifically for her clients to manifest the lives of their dreams. She lives by the philosophy, change your energy, change your life. And today, as a podcaster, speaker, and author, she teaches the power of embracing life at every age. Using the principles from many cultures, she is the creator of A Beautiful Life, a movement that has inspires women to live as the beholder of beauty in every area of their lives. She is married to the man of her dreams, yay, and lives in Los Angeles, California. And she has, you guys are ready for this, she has 8 grown children and 5 beautiful grandchildren. Pamela invites you to become a beholder of beauty and a visionary creator, creating the life of your dreams and a better world for all. To learn more about Pamela, Ella, I did not know we should call you that. Okay, hold on, we'll have to talk about that. About Ella Nebeker and her work, visit Pamela Nebeker, and I'll spell that .com, PamelaNebeker.com, and we'll go to that at the end as well. But Pamela, should I call you Ella?
Well, my friends do. I would love you to.
Oh my goodness, I just love that name. Well, I love Ella Fitzgerald too. So anyways, that was a total aside. But so you've written, this is the second book that you've done with the Amazing Woman Nation, and I'm so glad that it is about leading and how women can lead in this world to make change. Why was this so important to you? What was your calling to step up and do the lead portion of this book?
Well, first, Lisa, let me thank you for having me on the show and for always being so supportive of the Amazing Woman Nation.
Oh,
You're
absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you. I love it.
So just a little bit about Ella. When I turned 40, I thought, I've been Pamela or Pam my whole life. I'm entering the second part of my life, and so I think I'm going to go by the second part of my name. So that's how the name came up.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that is so, yes, and it's beautiful. It's actually, yes, you went from one beauty name to the next that you felt even more joy from at the time, and it could shine more.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So as far as leading goes, I feel like it's our responsibility once we have gained our own vision and have learned how to visualize and accomplish in this world, it's our responsibility to help other people do exactly the same thing. So it's about, reaching our hand out to our sisters everywhere and lifting them up too.
Yes. Interesting what we say about leadership, and then you use the word responsible, like it's our responsibility to lead, in our way, in our own way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the responsibility, I have to say, this is going to be a fun one. You use the term a vision quest. Are we ready for a vision quest? Did you just sit back one time and say, okay, I'm going to start envisioning how I lead or how I want to lead? Like how do we enter or begin a vision quest in the role of leading?
For me, my vision quest, which is untraditional, but it came through necessity. I was divorced. I had 6 little kids, and I was the sole responsible person for them. And I began researching and reading and learning about how I could be better, how I could take on that responsibility and live full out. So it came from many cultures. I studied feng shui. I've studied Vastu from India, which is very similar in the Indian culture, Native American shamanism, and many other things. And I've been able to draw from those things in my own personal life to get a clear vision for myself and my own life.
I love that, to get a clear vision. So the vision quest is actually the goal, the outcome that you're really aiming for is to have a clear vision. I like that question. How can I be better? Like at what I'm doing now. So was yours like, how can I be a better mom? Or how can I just be better at doing all of this?
How can I be a better person? How can I be a better mother? How can I be, better at my job as a realtor, interior designer? How could I leave a legacy in this world that makes the world a better place?
Oh, well, you just took up legacy a whole notch there, didn't you? Because not just to leave a legacy. Oh my gosh, I never thought about that. That's like a pure intention legacy, not just, leaving a legacy. It's to leave the world in a better place. I have to write that down. And that's a more beautiful place too. You're right. Like, yeah, because you're about beauty and having that with design and everything. Did you, when you found yourself going through that time, I love that you said your vision quest came through necessity. You were in that, I don't know if you're struggling, but yes, necessity. Did you have a role model who, like a woman role model, somebody that you could even look up to for leadership?
It's interesting. I turned 40 when I got divorced, and a client, a real estate client, gave me a picture of this beautiful woman with silver hair, black and white picture, and she said, "You need this. You need a role model." And so I took that picture, I framed it, and I put it in my gallery with all my kids and other relatives, and I would pass it every day. And a few years later, I went to a book signing, and there was that woman, and her name was Byron Katie.
Oh, I love her. Oh, yay. Oh, my gosh. Oh,
and
wow.
She inspired me that you can live a full life every single day of it, whether you're 80 or 40 or 25,
Yeah. Oh, I love that story. Got little goosebumps. What's really neat about there is that you had somebody who, like, I have to think, oh, okay, if I had to choose a role model, like I have to like choose or be inspired by one, but I never thought about maybe somebody else might recommend somebody. So if somebody was struggling, like, oh, I don't have a role model, how do I get one? Like, it's not that bad of a thing to do to ask somebody who they think they might be inspired by. You never know what somebody else might choose.
And there are people out there that are earthly angels that just know what you need, and they listen to their intuition.
Oh, I like that. Oh, earth angels. You just made me remember when I was little, and you go to the library and you ask for them. Can you recommend a book on so and so? That kind of thing. It's like little library earth angels. And that's, speaking of definitely roles and jobs that women play, when you think of women and taking that, say like, yes, I want to lead. I can lead. I have the right to lead. What do you think has been some of the biggest barriers that women have encountered when trying to step into their clear vision of themselves?
Well, I think that, there's many things outside of ourselves that get in the way, whether it's culture or ideas that society holds. But really, when you get right down to it, the things that hold us back are things inside of ourselves that we need to learn to understand and to rise above.
Could you give us an example? Like I like that we need to understand. So if there's things inside of us, and there are, like they're in us, how do we strengthen that relationship of understanding ourselves?
Well, for me, it started with meditation and prayer.
Okay.
And realizing that the answers didn't lie outside of me. The answers were inside of me all along, just like they are for you and for other women. The answers are always there. Sometimes we have those earthly angels that help us along to find it, but sometimes we just need to be still and sit with it and really receive that direct line of communication from our higher being.
I can feel that. It's like if I'm looking for something that I've put down somewhere, like my tea. Oh my gosh, I swear I put my tea down in so many crazy places, and I think, God, where should I put that tea? And I know this is a light, fluffy example, but if somebody was always talking to me while I was looking for it, I'd actually probably still continue to look around in circles from room to room and probably look at the cup of tea. But you're right. If I don't go, just give me a second here. Let me just think, listen, then I could just quickly go, yeah, I put it there when I was here. So is it more, when you say listen, are we remembering, or is it a remembering type thing of ourselves or our strengths, or is it getting to know ourselves?
I think it's a little of both. Because the answers are always there. It's just that sometimes we've let earthly struggles, whether it be relationships or money or taking care of ourselves, get in the way of receiving that information and opening that up. It's like you just got to have a little chisel in your hand to chisel that heart open. And once it's open, just all these amazing things start to roll out. And you find out these things about yourself. And then you take it to the next level and you share those things with other people, hoping that, you could pass that chisel along to them.
Yes. Oh my gosh, hold on. Okay, wait. Wow, hold on here. I was imagining the chisel being, we're replacing the back in the day woman's thing about having a nail file in our purse. We are now carrying little chisels around, and we can get in there. And I love that. First, I was so excited that you said we chisel, we get this answer, and then we share. But then you didn't stop. You went, no, not only we're going to share what we have found, our gifts, we're also going to give the tool and let other women know that they can use that tool too to get to their own answers. That was awesome.
Thank you. And that's what the book is all about. Women's experiences of opening their hearts and minds and spiritual eyes and ears. And then being able to give those things to other women.
Yes. Oh, because we do talk about a lot about giving and receiving, give and receive, but I like share, because sharing does imply both giving and receiving.
Right.
And I almost feel like leading now is like the word to lead. It means to share. I think. Exactly. What do you think about that? Okay. Yes.
Exactly. Perfect.
Good. Yay. And because the thing is, how do we find, what are ways that women, people, we all can, because we all need to support everybody, but to learn ways for mastering our mission. Like if we have a mission in life and we go, this is what I'm meant to do, I want to do, what are the ways we even start learning? We listen, so we're listening, we understand ourselves, and now how can we be really forward and strong and leading in our way of our mission?
Well, in the book, in my chapter, I talk about how I did it with different exercises from different cultures. We've been doing vision boards for a long time now, which has helped a lot of women and men. We talk about meditation and stillness, having that time to be quiet so that you can chisel open that heart. We're all artists, and it's almost like we are sculptors, and we come with this clay, and it's mobile, and and then things happen in our lives, and we have experiences, and sometimes the clay hardens before it's really ready to.
Oh.
And so we can take those tools that we've mentioned in the book and unchisel. Or not unchisel, that's not a word.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That is perfect, actually. I love what you said, because if we were pliable and moldable and we were going along and doing our thing, but then, yes, we hardened too early. We, maybe like you said earlier, culture was in the way, ideas of others got in our way, and then we hardened, but now we're like, whoops, we got to go back in. That was too early. We hardened there too early.
That's right. That's right. And then the other thing that I want to share is that each of us needs to be able to find the beauty in every situation, whether it's a divorce or a wedding or the death of a loved one. We need to be able to find that core beauty that is in there, because it's there in every situation. And the way to move forward in life is to be able to recognize that.
I would love for you to share with us, because you do talk of the word beauty a lot. This is an interesting one, because we have our different ways of identifying or experiencing beauty. What are some, universal feminine versions of beauty in, I want to say challenges or hardships, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, what are some things that we could at least recognize? Maybe not right away, because it's not like joy and sunshine and rainbows, but we're looking at divorce and we're looking at the death of a loved one. We're looking at that. What might be some of the things that could be found of the beauty inside of those?
Well, it can start with gratitude for the situation and the lessons that you're learning from it. It can be gratitude that you ever had the privilege to know that person or that child that has come into your world and then leaves too suddenly, and be grateful that you got to have that experience. Or if it's, say, financial, if it's a bankruptcy or you lose your home. I know that, a few years ago that was happening all the time, and it still continues to happen, especially with medical bankruptcies. And it's really hard to find the beauty in those things. Yes. But we can do it, because maybe the beauty of it is that we then go out and try to make a change and a difference so that someone else doesn't have to go through that.
Okay. Oh, it's not just the lesson that we learn in ourselves, but it could be even igniting us on our own calling, like a new one or an expanded calling, that we have this wisdom now that we can share.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, and you know what? That's why I interview authors, because it's generally what they're doing, right? They're sharing their wisdom that they've come to go through, and as we are you envisioning right now? What's your calling or mission? I know it's about seeing the beauty, but with being a part of something like with the Amazing Women series books, what is your change you'd like to see and lead the way in?
Well, it goes right back to that. I help people go from where they are to where they'd really like to be. And I do that through private consultation, design, coaching, and reaching out and touching people's hearts. That's the most important thing.
I like that. Do you, because I'm very curious about this. When it's that in between journey is a long way, where you are and where you want to be. Well, it doesn't have to be a long way, but there's a lot of work there. When you said about, use Feng Shui, the North American shamanism, the Western, and you mentioned one other thing, and I didn't catch the name, and you said it was very similar to Feng Shui.
It's Vastu.
Vastu.
Okay. Is the Indian art of placement.
Oh, art of placement. Okay. Would you suggest, I'm just trying to think here. Somebody's in their world and you go, I would like to see a change. I'm trying to get clear on what it is right now. would a great place be to start is the placement of their house, their room, their office, their stuff?
Absolutely, because like at this point in my life, I can walk in and tell what their blockages are. You can see it in their environment. It manifests. Our blocks manifest in our environment.
Okay, cool question. So if they're the ones who place the furniture there, okay, it's like a chicken and egg kind of question. Did they already have the block in their life, and that's what made them put that thing there, or did they put that thing there and then the block came into their life?
The blocks generally show up subconsciously and show us what's holding us back, whether it's holding us back in our career or our relationship or our health. The blocks show up. Sometimes we just need a little guidance to see them.
There's that vision quest thing, right? I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Do people take pictures of their space and like send them to you, or do you go into people's, like how could somebody have you help them with that?
I do both. I can do it remotely with FaceTime. I can also go and do one-on-one consultations. And the thing is being there is so much better because you can actually feel the energy of the space too, and where the person's energy is. Right.
And I'm assuming a person's energy would change. I know mine does. When I go from one room to another room in the house, it's a different life. Each room has a different life to me.
That's true. That is true. And so if we can change that energy up just through tiny things, whether it be order, organization, letting go of things, we truly can shake up our life and make it feel a whole lot better.
I like that. Yeah, everybody knows what it feels like to clean out a closet or to go through things. And of course, I'm standing here looking at how my desk has got a little bit out of hand here. And so I order. Well, I just think it is amazing that we can take all these things, and that someone as yourself is just, I'm grateful to you to have said, you know what, I do have wisdom. I've done a lot of inner work, and I just want to share this beauty and let other women see their beauty. And so there comes the final big question is, if there, was one of the most single important actions that a woman could take right now to answer her call and to start leading the way, what would that be for you to share with us?
Well, to be still. To be still and to ask God, or whatever, is your preference, to open your eyes that you might see just the way God sees, because that's clear and pure, and we see situations so differently when we ask that question, and it starts to change everything.
I love that. So lead from stillness and see the purity. See the pure. Mm-hmm. Hear the answer in the most purest form, with no judgment and no conquering, no power control kind of thing.
Right.
Oh, well, I know that this is just such a big month. We have a lot of momentum and a lot of women pulling together and really saying, so I do believe that, this is the month that a lot of change will happen. And a lot of leaders will step up. And I'm just so happy that you're part of this and being able to share this. And if there's any invitations that you would like to make for anybody to connect with you, this would be a lovely time to do that.
Well, we have an event coming up on April 1st in Pasadena, where each of the authors will be speaking. And we would love to have people join us there. I'd love to meet people and be able to reach out and share stories. And then also you can find me at PamelaNebeker.com. And I'd be happy to chat with you and see if it's a good match for us to work together.
I think that would be beautiful. I think, see, I use beauty. See, you just exude it. There you go. Well, everyone, I just want to thank you so much, Pamela, and all the listeners who have joined us for this hour of just incredible, you guys, this is about Lead, Amazing Woman Lead. And we definitely are featuring the influential entrepreneurs, mentors, and change makers. And as we go through this month, we're going to continue the 6 that are remaining of the 8 of the essential powers of mastering your mission. So, Pamela, thank you so much for being on this first show of the month, and let's go lead, but with stillness.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Oh, thank you, Pamela. Until next time, everybody.